Hello and welcome to what's new in Microsoft 365 and Teams. We're looking back at February 2023. I'm Mark Thompson from Super Simple 365 and I'm going to take you through these main updates for OneDrive, SharePoint, Teams and a few from around 365. Now, just a quick note about what's on the site. We've got 50 updates over there on the blog, so after you watch this video, if you're interested, follow the link and then you can go and read all those other updates too. So let's start with OneDrive. First one is the new shared review view. Over here you can see, let me just zoom in for you, you can see that we've got those pills across the top. Makes it super easy for me to filter by those apps. We've got the activity feed on the right hand side that tells you what's happened on those files most recently. Okay, so it shows you, you might already know this, what's been shared with you on email, chats, meetings. So it's just all the stuff that's been shared with you across Microsoft 365 and you can see in one place. So that's on that shared tab there. Okay, now remember that it's got that fairly new pill view at the top and that activity column over on the right hand side. Oh, that's due mid-March to April this year. So another nice one is the favorites and unfavoriting of files to appear in OneDrive. So whether these are in your OneDrive or they're elsewhere on a SharePoint site or SharePoint Teams, these will appear on this new view that we've got here, the way you can see your favorites. Now that's coming mid-March to early April as well. Now this is hot on the heels of a couple of new things. I know I've told you about this, I'm just going to quickly remind you. Over on the right hand side there you can see that we've got this activity column and it just helps you keep up to date with what is going on with files which you've shared or have been shared with you. And that is available now, as is this new home view. This came in, you know, I'm trying to think when this came in, over the last week or so, I first noticed it. So it's the new home experience. And we've got these pills here that give you nice easy filtering. Over on the right you've got that activity column, so that's quite nice. This is basically shows all your recent files. If you look at the screen here, you can see that these are from all different places. Okay, so it's all your recent files. If you are missing your old view, that now is in My Files. If you click on My Files, that will show you that old view that you are used to. Okay, so that also is available now. So 4 quite big changes for OneDrive, and I'd say if you're involved in any way with training, maybe you're a super user, you have to look after the guidance, it might be worth you checking those 4 new features to see whether it affects your materials and your users. Okay, so one that's been rolled back. So we had this just drop down next to share, and it was nice and quick. Share a link, share a copy, manage access, quite nice. For some reason, and I've asked, and I just don't know why this is, they've rolled it back and they've put that on hold. Honestly, I don't know why it is, but if I do find out, I will let you know. Okay, so just very quickly for SharePoint. So a couple of changes to page authoring. So you can proof your text in multiple languages now in the text web part. You get more control over spacing of your text, and this that's what the image refers to, the removal of the external image support in the Hero web part. Now I think I read that that is about performance and reliability and just quality of experience. If it's relying on external images, then they've got no control over that, and if they're slow or they're broken or they get changed or they're inappropriate, you just lose that bit of control. So 3 quick changes coming in to SharePoint page authoring mid-March this year. Okay, couple of quick ones for SharePoint. Update to the rules email notification. So previously it used to come from no reply at sharepoint.com, but now it's going to come from the person who either created it or last updated that rule, and it's going to give that person's email address, and it's just to increase security a little. And want to watch. So remember, the want to watch ones are normally things which have appeared on the roadmap. So there's only like a sentence, maybe a paragraph at most. Anyway, this is improvements to the image web part. So text overlay, adding text and styling, color boxes, opacity so you can see through it. Due March 2023? I doubt it, but I'll probably be telling you all about that next week or next month. Okay, onto Teams already. So let's see what we've got. So this is already in the new presenter view window. This is particularly useful if you are presenting on just one screen. So I heard someone just this week saying, can someone let me know if someone puts their hand up because I'm only on one screen and I'm presenting. So this will appear, this floating box, you can see it, but the other people can't. And it shows you the person that's speaking, but it also shows you when someone's got their hand up. And you can see here you've got some quick controls as well, so you can control your microphone and your video. So it's super helpful. And I'm just raising it again. I know I've already told you about it. I'm raising it again because I've seen people who have it say they can't see people's hands going up. Okay, so another one that's come in is the support for co-organisers to manage breakout rooms. So I've told you about this, just another quick reminder. Even with the breakout room managers and with the co-organisers, there's a bit of a disconnect, wasn't there, between their ability to manage breakout rooms. Anyway, they've got all these new rights now. Have a quick look on the screen. You can see all this extra stuff that co-organisers can do in relation to breakout rooms. If that's of interest to you, go and check out the blog post, but that is available now, folks. Okay, this is just a quick update, but it's super useful. Mention everyone in chat. So folks, let's suppose that you have a monthly report and you have quite a few people who contribute towards it. And every month you need to just build these people up because you're managing this in the chat. You just put your shout out and they send it back to you, or they update the document that you're working on or whatever your way of working is. So instead of having to mention each person or just put in the chat and hope that they see it, you can do curly @ and do everyone, and then everybody will be notified that you've mentioned. Also, just while I'm here, look at that. You can see that you can add someone from the chat. I've told you about this previously, but just mention it super quickly. Instead of having to go up to the top of the chat, then have to click the button to add somebody, then add them. You can just do a curly @ mention someone who's not in the chat, and then you can pull them in. So what else we got on here? So it applies to chats with more than 2 users. They'll get the notification in their feed. If you are mentioning, if you're mentioning them by name as well as the everyone, then the one by name takes precedence, and that is available now, folks. Go and check that out. Another one that is in actionable missed call notifications in the Teams activity feed. Not a big deal, but super useful. So it just means that if somebody has called you, then you can just see at a glance that they've called you, and you can call them back from here. You don't have to go into the calls app and call them from there. Just one click and you can call people back. Okay, so ultrasound howling detection in Teams meetings. Now, a lot of you probably won't even notice when this comes in. So let's say that you go to a meeting room and using the screen, but for whatever reason, a few of you got your laptops as well. So this just will detect that when your machines are together, and it will mute your mic and your speaker, because it will assume that you're using the speakers for the big screen and the microphones associated with that, or if not, only one of you is running the audio. You can turn it back on at any time you want to. Best name feature, possibly the ultrasound howling detection. I think that's cool. I flagged that, folks, just in case you end up in a meeting or your colleagues end up in a meeting and you're wondering what's going on with your audio. Probably you won't even notice that it's come in late March, but just in case you're wondering what is going on with your audio. Okay, Visio personal app in Teams. So you might remember, and I'm trying to think when this was, maybe 4 months ago-ish, don't quote me on that, but something like that, 4 months ago or so, Visio, a lightweight app, web version of Visio, got added to 365 to all the licenses, I believe all of them, so everyone could start using Visio. Anyway, the next stage of that is it has been added as an app in Teams. So there's no changes to the way things behave, but you can see here, if we just have a closer look, you can see it can be added as an app. You can pop it out if you want to, and it just kind of surfaces it a little bit. It's just another example of Teams being the place you go to work, and that is due mid-April. Okay, scheduling send suggestions in Teams chat. So this is for people who have got a Viva subscription. It knows who you're talking to, and it's just going to say, you know what, why don't you send this when they're at work? Now remember that you can right click on that send icon and you can schedule it yourself, but it is just for people with a Viva Insight subscription. It's just going to kind of look after you a little bit and stop you sending things out of hours because of the pressure it puts on people. Okay, another little one, Teams Help app pops out by default. We seem to have a few nice little updates for Teams this month. No real big heavy hitters, I don't think. Although I've got some nice ones to tell you that are coming soon. Anyway, so you are doing something in Teams and you go to look at the help, and then you look at the help, and then it is on the screen, and then you have to go back to the thing that you wanted the help on. So this is quite nice. So when you go to help and you choose what you want help on, it will automatically pop out in a new screen. And I think that's great because it just means that you can easily compare the screen that you need help on with the screen that's giving you the help, and that is due by the end of March. Okay, so Teams PowerPoint Live is getting video closed captions. So what's this about? So this is when you have a video that you want to embed in your PowerPoint presentation, and that video has got closed captions, and you want to show that video inside your presentation inside a Teams meeting. And this just means that if your presentation has that video that has those closed captions, people will have the choice to turn them on or turn them off. And you can see here that they will appear just at the bottom of the screen underneath the video, just at the bottom of your underneath your slide. Right, I say underneath your video, that's assuming that you've set your screen up like that. That, folks, is due anytime now, but by the middle of March. Okay, on to some quick updates, just some quick things. Remember that this snoozy clock shows you that something's been delayed, and this is the retirement of forms in Teams meetings. So you might know that previously we had forms in Teams meetings, but it only gave us polling functionality, even though it's called forms. And then after a while, you see the forms icon, it'd be called forms, and then we got a standalone polls app. And they said they were going to quite quickly remove the Forms app. Anyway, they've pushed that back, so you can use both of them now if you want to. The best practice is to use a new one called Polls, but they're going to let you continue to use Forms until September if for whatever reason you want to. What else has been delayed? The wiki retirement. So I told you last month about the retirement of the wiki in Teams channels. It's been pushed back a little bit, but it's now due this month. So you got a little bit of a reprieve, and maybe get your users ready for that. And if you're a super user, make sure you share that with your colleagues, especially if you know that they use the wiki inside channels. Okay, so quick updates, suggested files in one-to-one chats. So when you're in a one-to-one chat, it will just, the AI magic stuff that goes on behind the scenes, knows who you're talking to, what you're talking about, and then it will suggest files. Click on the file, and then it will include that file with your message. What else is delayed? Video filters. So that's that filter I told you about in meetings on videos. I think it's the one that had the wavy lines on, that I probably wasn't very polite about because I can't see the points. But that's been pushed back a little bit, sometime in March, between March and late May for that. What else is delayed? An expanded view of the profile card in Teams. This will be quite useful actually when you look at a person and you wonder whether they can help you or whether it's worth you networking with them, or you've got something to offer them. You can just see what they're working on and a bit more about what they do before you maybe contact them. That's already available in Outlook, and it's coming to Teams between now and April. Okay, the quick access to the Teams and SharePoint document libraries from the desktop Office apps. This is just, think about your, Word on your machine, and being able to easily get back to your Teams and SharePoint libraries right from there, and to see the content in there. It's just hooking them up a little bit behind the scenes. That looks super useful, but it's been pushed back quite a bit, hasn't it? June to July this year. Okay, want to watch the active speaker view in meetings. This is just going to to really highlight the person that's speaking, the person that spoke last in meetings, and that is due in April, maybe, because that's just a one to watch, remember? And this looks cool. Breakout rooms, participant shuffle. Maybe you've got some kind of quiz with work, or you are doing some kind of workshop or some team building, or you just got something with your team at work. You can put them to their breakout rooms, click shuffle, and it will shuffle everyone around, and then they can carry on talking about whatever they're working on. That is penciled in for June, folks. I bet that will be late, but I will keep you up to date. I'll tell you more about it maybe over the next couple of months. What we've got here, enable zooming while viewing screen share. So someone's sharing their screen with you in Teams and you can't quite see what's on their screen, you're going to be able to zoom in really easily, and that is due April as well. Okay, so another nice one, green screen in Teams meetings. Now, I'm sort of looking forward to this. Whenever I blur my background in Teams or I use another background, so there's a couple of clients that I work with that I have to, I use the background for the people that I'm representing, just some branding that we have, and it can't cope with the colour of my hair. So my hair is kind of, well, I like to think that it's going grey. People keep telling me that I'm straight up grey, but and the just the way you see, I'm looking down at the video now. Just the way I wear it, it makes such a mess. I have this fuzzy thing, and I have bits you can see through some parts of it, and it just makes a real mess. It cuts my hair off sometimes. It looks like I've just got some weird thing going on. But the green screen apparently does a much better job of handling that. So you just have the green screen, just a green something behind you, and it does apparently a much nicer job of taking the background out and putting a new one on. So I'm sort of looking forward to that. Due in April. New channels experience. So I'm going to slow down just for a second because this is a big deal. So the experience that you have with Microsoft Teams channels, so Teams, so you've got Teams, you've got your Teams inside the app Teams, and then it's broken down into channels. You get a new experience in there, including the newest comment. If I read it correct, and I recall correctly, the newest comments at the top. And going down. So people have complained about that. So I've been working with Teams now for over 5 years. Just for 5 years and 2 or 3 months. And people have complained about that constantly. So I will be telling you a lot more about that, no doubt, over the next couple of months, folks. Penciled in for April? I doubt it. I can't be honest, but I bet we'll be hearing more about it in April. So what else do we have? Profanity filtering on and off control for live captions. So it's up to you whether you see people's cursiness. Looking at that for May. Presenting local files from PowerPoint app to PowerPoint Live. So this means that it doesn't have to be in 365. It can look when you're presenting in Teams, use PowerPoint Live. It can look at your local computer and not just your Microsoft 365 account. Quite nice. And I guess this is a big deal as well, isn't it? So Microsoft Teams has been criticised for as long as I can remember about it being heavier. You can't see me now, but I'm doing air quotes. So it uses a lot of CPU, a lot of processing power. It uses a lot of memory or RAM, and because of that, it uses quite a lot of power. So it runs down your battery quite quickly on your laptop. So they're using a new technology for the second version, and I've seen some rumours, and I think it's I think it's The Verge. I know that. Where else did I hear this? I heard this on Windows Weekly last weekend on the blog, or last Wednesday. That they're talking about Teams version 2 starting to surface as early as March. Okay, so I can't really say more than that because I don't know. But I've started a blog post on this. If you're interested in this, hop over to the blog post, and I will, whenever I hear anything new, I will add it to that post. So if you're not sure how to get to that, go down to the notes for the video, go over to the blog, and then just have a click around, and you'll see that story. Anyway, that is super exciting. Okay, let's have a look at what's going on around Microsoft 365. So Adobe Acrobat is going to become the built-in default PDF engine in Microsoft Edge. So let's see what else we've got here. So if this is happening in your organization, so thinking about you at work, if it's not managed with Intune, people will start seeing that change between March and September. And if your devices are managed with Intune, and you know what, if I was working for an organisation, in fact, a couple of organisations I do work with, and I've got their laptops, I don't even know whether they use it straight up. I don't even know. But just in case that does matter to you, you can see there's some differences. You get a lot more control over it. But certainly, PDF is going to be handled by Acrobat inside Edge. Now, it's meant to be a better experience, and it's meant to be better for accessibility. And I wonder whether you're going to try and get some kind of upsell in there while you're there as well, and maybe Microsoft get a kickback. But maybe I'm being a little bit uncharitable. Hopefully, that's just going to be all good things for us users and nothing negative in there. Okay, so pronouns on profile cards in Microsoft Teams and Outlook Web. So let's just click through here. Now, I know of a UK government organisation. I'm sure that it happens across multiple organisations, but just thinking about one in particular, where lots and lots of people now share their preferred pronouns on their signature, and this is going to help people just express themselves a bit better, I think. So it has to be turned on by your organisation because it's off by default. And you see here, you can choose it and you can display them on your profile card in Teams and Outlook. That, folks, is due late March to early April, but is subject to your organisation switching those on. Okay. Oh, folks, Yammer is dead. So for as long as I've used Yammer, so when I started using Yammer 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, 8.5 years ago maybe, at Zurich Insurance, and I know that they used it globally. So think about all the different countries that insurance company is in, all the different languages, and it was really good. It was set up properly. People knew how to use it, and it was great. And I've heard people bad mouthing my beloved Yammer forever, and anyway. It seems like it has now run its course. It's now going to be rebranded Viva Engage, and you can see it at the top of there. Let me just zoom into that. You can see you're going to start seeing these notifications. And anyway it surfaces, it is going to be rebranded. And those changes are going to start now and continue throughout 2023. And that is it, folks. Yammer is about done. Okay, so rich text and images and planner tasks. I've been talking about this for as long as I've been talking to you. Now due mid-February to early March, I'm going to be talking about this forever, aren't I? I use Planner every day. Looking forward to this. I'm going to move on. We'll see whether it ever appears. Delayed. Introducing the Microsoft feed, so I told you all about that last month. It's been pushed back to April to May. Projects in Viva Goals is changing to initiatives. There you go, Viva gobbling up something else and rebranding it and naming it. Everything's going to be called Viva. Everything's going to be called Viva AI. Eventually, that's all you're going to have, Viva AI for everything. That is due February 2023, so that should have happened by now. So if you're a projects user in Viva Goals, go and check what that's called. The ability to export lists as a data set into Power BI due to early March. That should have rolled out now, maybe. Editor using context IQ in Word documents. So this is where you do the curly at sign and you can do something. Now, previously I've told you that as well as files, as well as people, it would involve Viva topics and loops. They've said those two things aren't going to be included and they'll come out later. I'm guessing they're having some trouble with those two topics, those two inclusions, so they have postponed those two. I guess just so the feature can get rolled out, and I'll come back and do those extra bits later. What else do we have? One to watch, connectors, so line anchoring in whiteboard. In fact, all of these on this slide are for whiteboard. This just picture Visio, the way you can just link stuff up with line anchoring and connectors. Coming in August, maybe. Creating loop tables and task lists in July, maybe. There's a lot of maybes here. These dates at this early stage, when things just appear on the 365 roadmap, they kind of have to do a rough guess, and that's all they all are at this stage. So take these dates with a pinch of salt. Anyway, starting new whiteboards with templates. I know you can do that, but that's going to be really surface. That's going to be like your starting place, and the ability to do voting inside whiteboards. So whiteboards, folks. If you haven't checked out the whiteboard recently, go in and have a look at it. The functionality has come so far in the last year from some clunky thing that is a bit like paint that you can just do some scribbling on to a really nice, useful application in its own right. Go check that out, folks, if you've not looked at whiteboard recently. Okay, so what else do we have? Edge, split screen side by side. So I often have two browsers, and I use I snap one to one side, snap one to the other. For when I'm editing the blog post, for example, I'm editing on one and I'm proofreading it on the other, and I'm making changes. And so instead of having to do that, I can just have it in the same window. So I haven't got any of the extra window down the sides. So I can just have one browser, but have the split content in there. Looking forward to that, folks. And in a small change, but some of us will find that super useful, due in April. What else do we have? Word send to Kindle, so the ability to look at a Word document and send it to your Amazon account so it appears on your Kindle. During March, I can't see many organisations letting that run, folks. So you got your work documents which are related to your industry, and then send them off to your Amazon account and to appear on a Kindle. I might be wrong, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of that in the workplace. Okay, so we're about done, folks, and I want to tell you about this. So I have worked with Kirsty for years, and we've started another channel. It's Mark and Kirsty banging on about Microsoft 365. We have two types of content in there at the moment. So season 1 we're currently working through. Let me just pull down here. Just doing a quick introduction about what all the apps are. So if you are new to Microsoft 365, you can see us just talking about what, for example, OneNote is when you use it, what Teams is, and just doing a whole list of all of them, just to be complete, just to start from scratch. And also, we're doing the OMG moments. What we do on these OMG moments is we spend 10 or 15 minutes just going through our favourite hints and tips for whatever that application is we're doing at a time. But we have some robust banter on there, and we're not always sound like we're being very kind to each other, but we actually get on really well, so don't misread that. But anyway, folks, look at the video notes. I'll put a link over to there. Subscribe on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, and once a week we just put out a couple of short videos. And if there's something you want us to show, or you got some great tips you'd like us to cover for you, we'll give you the credit for it as well. Maybe you could link to it on your own Twitter feed or your LinkedIn, and we'll give you all the credit for it. Or you want to come on and do something with us, let us know. We'll go and check that out, folks. It's a bit of fun, and it's just something that we're working on. Okay, so we're done. You know how to subscribe. I'm not going to take any more of your time. So how far are we in? Gosh, we're in like 24, 25, 26 minutes. I've got a bit of editing to do, so I'm not quite sure. But thank you for watching, listening. Please subscribe. And folks, I guess I'll see you next month. Thank you for listening and watching.